Afternoon. Welcome back to TSPN. I'm Al Lennox, and I'm with Debbie Blasingame and Christina Martinez. And we're talking a little bit about health care, since it's in the forefront of everybody's mind right now. You know, let's talk a little bit about billing, Debbie. Let's talk about the evolution of a bill and the process, and then, for example, a Medicare patient comes into the office, is seen by the doctor. Now what?
Well, then the doctor writes his note, and in our office, he has a number of codes that represent certain things that you have wrong, you know, hypertension, or you have diabetes or whatever, and there's a number of codes that you have to write down. And then he gives that to me, I put it in the computer, we send it electronically to Medicare, and they, at that point, look at what we did and all the different charges. And so they take about 2 to 3 weeks for our medical business to send us money. Mm-hmm. Medicare pays, they have, say we had a bill for $100. You came in, your care was $100. They have an allowed amount for that care. Say it was your blood pressure. And they say that you only get $80 for seeing that patient. The $20 that you charged, you've now lost, because doctors and medical professionals and even attorneys and stuff are service business, and we can't write that $20 off. It's just gone. So now we have $80, and you have Medicare, so you have a supplement. So then that bill is either sent electronically to Blue Cross or Humana or Blue Shield or whatever, and they spend another month looking at what Medicare paid and processing, and then they send us hopefully the 20%, because of the allowed amount that Medicare had,
correct,
they pay 80% of that. So right, they've now knocked it down to $80, and they're paying, what is that, 60 some odd cents. Say they pay $65. So there's $15 out there that the secondary has to pay, right, the Blue right, Crosses. So after 45 to 60 days, we get that $15 from the secondary. So we've been paid, and all is done. We've basically ignored the $20 that we lost, and our claim is paid. That's really great if that works that way.
Right.
But that doesn't always work that way.
Well, I'll get into that in just a second. What if it doesn't work?
Yes.
But you know, that's part of the. A lot of folks think that healthcare providers provide the service and they're immediately paid. And that isn't the case. No. And it depends on the payer source. In the ambulance business, Medicare, I usually get paid from Medicare in about 30 days. Mm-hmm. If it's private insurance, it's 45 days. If it's Medi-Cal, it's 60 days. Mm-hmm. And then if it's litigated, it could be 2 years.
Oh, yeah. Or
workman's comp, or some auxiliary payer source. It go on forever and ever. So accounts receivables are a very important part of what we do, maintaining those and understanding when, because we have to worry about cash control.
Yeah. I mean, the lights don't go on by themselves.
No, we have to pay our bills, and
yes,
and I have to pay put gas in my ambulances, and pay my paramedics and EMTs, and patient supplies, and mm-hmm, all of that, and our business costs are going up about 9% a year, and of course the government funding programs have been stagnant now for 10 years at least, and
yeah,
actually they've reduced them. So I like to call them underfunded government mandates, but that opens up a whole new.
We, those of us under Medicare Part B, which is your doctors, your mm-hmm, ambulances, we've actually this year took a 2% cut in our pay.
Right.
But prior to that, the last 14 years, mm-hmm, we haven't received a single raise.
That's correct.
You know, cost of living has gone up. I mean, you have to pay your people, we have to pay the lights, we have to buy supplies, we have
right,
to do all of that sort of stuff. That's all gone up.
Sure.
But our income has actually gone down.
Right.
And so the gap between what we're paid and what we pay out gets smaller and smaller.
Now we're hoping, and I know you are, and I am, we're hoping, and again, with Obamacare, there's so much uncertainty. There's no crystal ball. You said it earlier. But we're hoping that trend changes a little bit, and because it's becoming more and more of a challenge to provide services.
Yes, that would be nice, except that there's that little law that they passed when, well, about 15 years ago when Clinton was in, that says that if the government does not balance the budget, it comes off the back of the medical field under Part B, which is your doctors and your ambulance, and that's why our pay was cut 2%, because if they can't balance the budget, then we, as those people who basically write the orders and make the billing part happen, have to be reduced and paid in order to pay that. So basically, doctors, because the pie, the Medicare pie is only so big, when that pie gets out of balance, basically the doctor's wedge, which is only 7% at this time, gets cut down. Not your your meds and not your hospital, okay, but doctors.
Right. But you and I both know that the government always meets its budget.
Well, yeah.
So it's not a problem.
Which we just found out last night.
Absolutely, absolutely. Tell me about what happens if a bill goes bad.
Well, then that lovely 30 to 60 day process becomes the many months of trying to get. You have to rebill. Basically, Medicare says, I didn't like what you said, then we're not going to pay you. So then you have to rebill. You have to find out why it is they didn't like it. They don't always make it clear. So you have to call. If you're lucky, you get someone who will tell you. Otherwise, they'll say, well, you have to look it up on so-and-so page and such volume out in the middle of nowhere. Good luck. So say you can find out, and you rebill it. So then the process starts over again, and then we're into another 45 to 60 days, and hopefully everybody pays. If you cannot figure it out, or say Medicare pays but the secretary doesn't like it, then you're into the many months, and at some point you may not get the money. And say you're using commercial and you bill it and the patient owes something and the patient doesn't pay you.
Right.
So in our office, I, over a series of 3 months, send invoices, then over a series of 3 months make phone calls. At which point, I've now anywhere from 9 to 12 months since the visit have not been paid, okay, or been paid a partial amount, at which point I am forced to send you to collections.
Right.
I mean, and I only send you collections for a certain amount.
And it's a last resort,
Yeah.
and it's unpleasant for both.
Yeah, it's
both
better for me.
parties.
I mean, I tell the patients, send me $5 a month. Just
Right.
send me $5. It's cheaper for me to wait 3 years to get
Right.
that money than it is to send to collections. I don't want to,
Yeah.
but I have to pay my bills.
You know, I have two ladies, one in Calaveras, one here in Amador County, that every time we run a call, what they do is they receive the paperwork. It comes from the field staff, paramedics and EMTs, goes electronically to them, and they review everything
Yeah.
before I electronically send it to a billing service.
Yeah.
Because when it goes to the billing service, I know I would rather spend that extra money and that time before sending it to the billing service, because I know if it isn't absolutely 100% correct, it's going to get kicked back.
Yes.
And if it's kicked back, now you've doubled, tripled, quadrupled your time.
And you've lost all that money. I
And
mean,
time and
the
energy.
people's, just my time, and we're a very small office, the time that I have to use to rebuild that, we've basically lost every dime we ever
Sure.
made on that visit.
Sure, it's right to get it right the first time.
Yes.
And you hope that the folks on the other side that are adjudicating these claims understand that and take it seriously. I know in the past there's been a disparity of processing over the years.
Oh, yeah.
And
Well, now we have a new contractor, too,
right, a
which
brand
is
new
a whole
one.
other deal.
Right. I know my company, we've had to go to fair hearing with Medicare and Medi-Cal, and we save them up, and we go to an administrative law judge who makes those decisions, and I go with 20 or 30 or 40 claims that I've saved up. And I'm happy to say I've never lost a case.
Yeah.
But it's just, I've never lost a case because we've always done the job and had the correct, but someone at the other end has just said it, maybe even sometimes arbitrarily, that it hasn't done right. So it's a challenge. It really is. Not only is it a challenge because our costs are going up, but now we have the uncertainty of Obamacare, and then we have the uncertainty of are we going to get paid or not.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a triple whammy.
Yeah.
Christina,
Yes.
when are you there?
I am there Monday through Friday from 7:30 to 11:30.
Okay. And you're by appointment?
Yes.
Okay. How soon, when do I have to make the appointment? How soon can I?
We're trying to book out a week before.
Okay.
A week before your appointment with doctor.
But if I'm not feeling well, can I call the doc's office and say, hey, I need Christina, can she come in tomorrow?
I'll be there.
Okay. That's important because you know yourself, timing is important. If someone's ill and they need that blood work and they need whatever else,
Absolutely.
you bet. And I'm glad you're there because Dr. Blasingame is my doctor.
Yes.
And so, he's always done a pretty good job.
He is. It's a wonderful office.
Yeah, it is a nice
Wonderful.
office, and the fact that you and I have known each other for so long, that's kind of nice too
Yes.
now. So, any parting thoughts, Deb, on
Well, let's hope this shutdown is short, because not only does it affect us as citizens, but it definitely affects us business, because we're not going to be paid for as long as it's shut down.
Sure.
We'll,
Yeah, it's a real hardship for a lot of folks out
Oh,
there
yeah.
when the government, and just the government workers that aren't getting paid. And,
It just
and the services that they
explodes.
provide, it's a trickle-down effect that impacts the whole country.
yeah.
So let's hope. Let's hope that that we can solve this problem.
Shortly.
Bye. Thanks for watching. I'm being told we're out of time.
You're watching Amador County's #1 news and sports leader, TSPN.